Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to A Fan's View, Sports Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Ivey. And joining me this evening, I got the illustrious Kai Harris by way of Syracuse, New York, now residing here in Charlotte, North Carolina. How you doing, Kai? What's up? How you feeling?
Feeling, man. Feeling good. Feeling great, actually.
Great. Well, man, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. A lot going on this past week. Of course, we had the big game on Sunday, Super Bowl. Seattle Seahawks victorious. Shout out to them. Congratulations. Had the big Super Bowl parade today. So that was, got to catch a little bit of that. And kind of went the way that I think we both expected. We talked a few weeks ago. We said that that the winner of that NFC Championship game between the Seahawks and Rams is probably going to win the Super Bowl. I felt strongly about that. And they did do so in dominant fashion, as we saw displayed on Sunday. And give me your thoughts about the game and, any surprises, or it kind of went kind of the way you saw it playing out.
Yeah, between us, me and you, the pundits on TV, the game went exactly how we all thought it would go. Seattle's defense, that's one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. And if I'm not mistaken, they were only sending in 4 at Drake May the whole game, pretty much.
Yeah, they didn't have to blitz a lot.
They didn't have to blitz at all, yeah. So it kind of went the way I thought it would go. I didn't know there'd be like a pick six, a defensive touchdown. As dominant as the defense is, I didn't know it'd be a defensive touchdown in the game, but it was. The pick six made through. And, the Patriots kind of made it interesting when they scored and made it 19-7. Then when the Seahawks got the ball back and didn't score and the Patriots had it again, I'm like, oh, this could be 19-14, then we'll have a game. Right. But it wasn't to be.
Yeah. Defense wins championships, and both defenses. I mean, the Patriots defense played well for most of the game as well, because it was a low scoring game first half, and then Seattle eventually broke it open. But I think you started to see where the Patriots were overmatched.
Oh yeah,
they didn't have an answer for that Seattle defense, and I don't want to say the Patriots got lucky getting to the Super Bowl, because they did what they had to do to get there. They won the games they needed to make, but they did have an easy schedule during the regular season. They had some favorable matchups in the playoffs. You can make an argument. Denver could have easily been there if Bo Nix wouldn't have gotten hurt. C.J. Stroud would have played better in that game against Houston. Houston could won that game and moved on. Chargers, they had a beat up offensive line, so they couldn't do much offensively. So everything worked in their favor, and sometimes it takes a little bit of luck to get to a Super Bowl. But they were clearly overmatched. Seattle was the better team. I felt the only way Seattle was going to lose that game is if they gave it away, turning the ball over. And to their credit, they did not turn the ball over. Sam Darnold, he wasn't great, but he took care of the football. Kind of remind me of back when, we talked about it before. Ravens had Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
Just manage the game. Don't turn the ball over. Don't try to play hero ball. And that's what he did. And he made a couple good passes. Those touchdown passes. First touchdown pass was a dime, right on the money. So he played well enough for them to win. But he took care of the football. And that's what you need when you have a defense like that. You just need your quarterback to make a few plays and just take care of the football.
Yeah. If only C.J. Stroud could have been Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson, we'd be talking about a whole other game.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd be talking about
as good as Seattle's defense is. I think that Houston defense is even better.
Even better, yeah. That's like the elite of the elite defense. And if you're the quarterback, all you gotta do is just get them 7 points, get them 7 to 10 points. That's it. The defense will do the rest.
Right.
But again, hats off to New England for getting there, of course. But despite the schedule they played. But you play who's in front of you. You got to be who's in front of you. And again, this NFL game, man, it's a game of bounces and inches. That freak injury Bo Nix had at the last play of the game. I mean, kind of turned the tide for for Denver, and Patriots playing a backup quarterback in the conference championship game. I mean, you know, but I did pick Denver to win that game despite all that what I just
Yeah, I
said.
did too. And they almost did.
Yeah, was it 10-7?
Yeah, something like that,
To me,
13-10, something like that. Yeah.
and it was the elements.
Hmm.
I mean, I love football. I love watching football. Sometimes watching that is kind of hard.
Hmm.
I mean, to see your running back slipping and sliding before you even
Hmm.
hand it off to him is crazy. So I think the elements played a big part in the AFC Championship game, but nonetheless, both teams play in those conditions all the time.
Hmm.
But it just sucked to see that. It just sucks to see that if Bo Nix was playing, how the game would have turned out.
Yes, absolutely. And I think now watching that game, I think teams looking ahead to next year, especially the teams that have a lot of have an offensive juggernaut, say, hey, we can't just rely on offense. We got to get our defense to better. You got some teams out there that have some really good offenses, but the defenses, are lacking.
Yeah,
Even though my Bengals, you have teams like the Cowboys, the Bills,
yeah.
teams that can score points, put up points, but the defense has been lacking. So you got to have a defense. It doesn't have to be elite, but you do need a defense. And that Seattle defense, man, they were all over the place. I mean, New England could not do anything until late in the game. And hats off to their coaching staff, Mike
Yeah.
McDonald. Man, he's done a great job turning that team around in second year. I mean, winning the Super Championship because they pretty much had to rebuild that team from when Pete
Hmm.
Carroll left.
Hmm.
Look at they have a lot of young players that they drafted on the defensive side of the ball. Of course, trading Geno Smith, bringing in Sam Darnold, that was huge.
Hmm.
But they have a lot of young guys on that team, so you got to give it to that front office, man. The way they've drafted and the players that they brought in just seem to be a great fit and mesh with that coaching staff. So I think that's kind of a blueprint for a lot of these teams moving forward, especially when you're trying to build a culture and turn a team around quickly. You can do it in 2 years. Same with New England. I mean, they won 4 games the previous year.
Hmm.
Brought in Mike Vrabel. They spent a lot of money in free agency. Had some good draft picks. In the Super Bowl. In his first year.
That's the way to go. Looks like these younger coaches, superstar offensive and defensive coordinators.
Hmm.
Um, Even though the saying in the NFL is after the Super Bowl, everybody's 0-0 again and have to work their way back up. But Seattle's is going to be tough. I got them penciled in the NFC playoffs already.
Yeah, I could see them. I mean, it's tough to get back to a Super Bowl,
Hmm.
but with that defense, they definitely
Hmm.
could get back. Now, question's going to be on the offensive coordinator because you just lost Clint Kubiak. He's going to be the new coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, so you have to replace him. They may promote somebody internally or go outside, but are you going to have the same level of offense that you had this past year? So that's going to be a big question. Obviously, their schedule is going to be tougher. So it's going to be hard to get back, but if you can play defense like that, I mean, I like their chances.
Not only is it going to be tough for them to get back or even make the playoffs because we've seen it before. We could see 2 Super Bowl teams one year, and the next year neither one will make the playoffs. They both go 8-8
Yep.
with the same squad.
Hmm.
So with Seattle, man, not only do they have the target on their back, I mean, look at that division they're in.
Hmm.
The 49ers and the Rams. Oh,
Yeah, and you can make an argument any of those 3 teams could be a Super Bowl contender next
yeah,
year.
yeah,
I mean, I think the Rams could get back next year. I think the 49ers, you can never count them out. I mean,
never.
they've been ravaged with injuries over the last couple of years, but they were just in the Super Bowl not that long ago, a couple years ago. So, I mean, of course, the Cardinals are rebuilding, but you got 3 teams out of that division that could come out of the NFC
There.
next year.
Hmm.
It's going to be tough.
Them and that NFC North with
Hmm.
Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit. And I don't know. I don't know about Minnesota right now. I need to see what they're going to do with that quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean that the whole NFC, I think is going to be more competitive,
Oh yeah,
and I even think the NFC South it can be more competitive. I mean the Panthers,
Panthers,
they're coming
Buccaneers.
up.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is still going to be a factor,
Hmm.
with Baker. They get some guys back healthy,
Yep.
and the Saints. I mean, watch out for the Saints. I mean they kind of came on late in the season, and Atlanta. Atlanta has a lot of
Yeah,
talent.
Atlanta. Oh my gosh, the
Yeah.
talent.
I
Oh,
mean,
Atlanta.
defensively, even offensively, they got some firepower. Just questions with the quarterback situation with Penix or whatever. But
Hmm.
that division, I think, is going to be a lot more competitive. In the NFC East, who knows? The Eagles, I think, will still be the
Eagles are
top
still.
in that
Yeah.
division. Cowboys could, if they can get that defense together, they could be a factor. We'll see if the Commanders can bounce back. And then you got the Giants, who should be improved with Harbaugh. So NFC is going to be it'll be more wide open, but very competitive. So it's going to be tough road for Seattle to get back next year.
Yeah, and even in the AFC, you have the Patriots, of course, who just represented the AFC in the Super Bowl. They have Buffalo in their division.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who's still around, but the disappointing thing about Buffalo, they had like a 6 year window.
Mm-hmm.
They had like a 5 6 year window to do something, and they haven't. And now the Patriots have come in and surpassed them.
Yes, that's the reason why they probably felt the need to move on from Sean McDermott, because
Hmm.
this was supposed to be their year. It was wide open.
Hmm.
Josh Allen's healthy.
No,
You don't
no
have you're
Lamar,
not
no
playing
Patrick
against
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow,
Hmm.
Lamar Jackson. The top heavy hitters. They're out of it. This is your chance, and you couldn't get it done. And you have to put a lot of that on Josh Allen too, because he didn't play
Oh,
great,
yeah, yeah,
with his turnovers. But every season is different, so things could go their way next year. I think a lot of teams are probably feel, if you're watching that Super Bowl, you a lot of these AFC teams, you're like, man, we could have been there. We
hmm,
could have put up a better fight than what the Patriots did. If you're like a Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, uh, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, you're like, man, we can get there. And
yeah,
if this team can get there, we can get there,
yeah.
and probably and have a chance to win.
That's the thing. Like you said, no Joe Burrow,
Hmm.
no Lamar. No, oh man, it was the red carpet was rolled out for Josh Allen to
Hmm.
get to the Super Bowl this year. Man, I'll be kind of rooting as far as AFC teams. One of the AFC teams I'll be kind of rooting for is actually you guys for one.
Hmm.
But man, they haven't made a coaching change in Cincinnati either.
No, and the funny thing is, every team in that division, besides my Bengals, are bringing back the entire coaching staff. The Browns have a new coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens new coaching staff. Steelers new coaching staff. So you never know how that's going to go when you bring in a new coach. All those other teams besides Baltimore have questions at quarterback. So we have to take advantage of that. Continuity. Key for us is of course stay healthy, Burrow staying healthy, and fix the defense. But I mean, there's no reason we can't be right there next year. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's other teams that feel the same way. So this offseason is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of movement, free agency. There's going to be some trades. Of course, we got the draft coming up in a couple months. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the moves that are made by some of these teams in the AFC to kind of get over that hump and kind of be like the New England version of New England next year, to where they can go from last to first, or finally get over that hump and get to a Super Bowl, because you got guys like you mentioned Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson's never been to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes wants to get back. Joe Burrow wants to get back. Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence haven't been there either. So C.J. Stroud. So a lot of these guys are chomping at the bit to try
Those some
to get to the Super Bowl, get to that Super Bowl.
those some names you just named, man. Look at
Mm-hmm.
those quarterbacks you just named. Good lord,
Mm-hmm.
all of them are nice. Stroud definitely has to get better than the last couple years, but those Texans are the team I'm going to be looking at next year, because that defense, man, just don't turn the ball over, don't do anything crazy, and you'll be all right.
Right. And for those out there watching the Fans View podcast, you want to see more episodes, subscribe to the link below. And we're going to take a quick break, commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get into the NFL coaching landscape. There's a lot to talk about.
Finally invited to game day at your parents' house? Look at you, all set to impress. Homemade nachos and queso, overnight chili dip, all the ingredients for your tableside guacamole spectacular. Hold up, and store-bought sour cream? Well, there'll be other game days. A dollop of Daisy might have been what got you invited back.
All right, welcome back to A Fan's View Sports Talk Podcast. Jay Ivey, your host, joining me, of course, Kai Harris, and we're going to get into NFL coaching landscape. There's been a lot of talk, and we mentioned this before. You had 10 head coach openings, which is the most we've had in years that I can remember. And, of course, no African-American head coaches hired. A lot of feelings about that. A lot of variables come into play of why that is. I have my thoughts, and you have your thoughts. And that's not to say the coaches that got hired weren't deserving or, won't turn out to be good coaches. You never know how that's going to work out. But a little surprised, surprised but not surprised, I should say, that there are no African-American black coaches hired this time around. And disappointing, but what's your thoughts on that subject?
Oh, they're very disappointing also. For me, question real quick. Does the Rooney Rule still exist?
If you want to call it that.
Not saying I'm a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not a fan of it. I mean, it's kind of stupid. It's like, okay, we already have our guy. We're just going to interview this black coach just to shut everybody up. You know what I mean?
It's basically they're just checking a box.
Yeah. Okay, bring them in. And that organization and that head coach being interviewed both know damn well he's not getting that job. Mm-hmm. So.
And you're somebody that's, interviewing for it. It's a sham, but you're spending hours going on the interview. And maybe you learn something. Maybe that helps you with your interview skills. And a lot of teams they like to interview these guys to pick their brain. And maybe they may want to bring them on in another capacity as an assistant coach or coordinator. But it's got to be frustrating for these guys. Go on these interviews. And you look at their resume and they're not getting hired. And I understand where Brian Flores was coming from when he filed that lawsuit years ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you can do because you can't force the owners to, they're going to hire who they want to hire at the end of the day.
Yeah, that I just never been a big fan of that rule because it's like everyone on both ends is wasting each other's time. Mm-hmm. And look how long it took for Tony Dungy. Remember how he was getting passed over and passed over and passed over?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not a big fan of how they go about hiring African-American coaches. The NFL is one of the worst leagues for that.
Yeah, you look at the NBA, it's the total opposite. Yeah,
college football is worse actually, though. But the college football landscape is worse. But the NFL, they have to do better with this.
Yeah, and we know it's lack of minorities and ownership. In the front offices, GMs, so that plays a factor. The owners, GMs, tend to go. It's all about relationships. Mm-hmm. See, guys will hire someone they know or someone they've worked with in the past, or they just feel comfortable with. So a lot of it is personal relationships. I get that, but I just wish you would just look at resumes and look at who's the best man for the job.
Yeah, best man.
Yeah, just give me the best person. I don't care. You may have a past relationship. You may know this person. Hire the best person. I think that's all anybody's asking for. Any of these candidates are asking for. If I'm the best person, hire me. If I'm not, okay, then move on.
Yeah. I mean, what you just said. Hire the best man for the job. Not my buddy, not my son's friend, not my old college roommate. No, because that's what it looks like sometimes. Mm-hmm. Or someone.
Mm-hmm. But there is another issue, I think, and it hasn't really been talked about a lot. If you look at those 10 jobs that were open, 6 of those head coaching vacancies were filled by offensive coaches. Okay. Now, the reason why I mention that is because when you look around the league, it's transcended to where they're hiring more young offensive-minded coaches. Even though defense wins championships, it's all about the offense. Okay. Well, the problem is you look at the pipeline of offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches. It's not a lot of black offensive coordinators or even black quarterback coaches. So you're looking at that pool, a limited pool of candidates when it comes to hiring offensive coaches. I don't know what the fix is. I would like to see more, African American offensive coordinators, even, black quarterback coaches that are tutoring some of these quarterbacks. But you've seen, we know about Eric Bieniemy, Brian Leftwich, guys that didn't get an opportunity, and the knock was, they don't call plays. They're not play callers. Well, you've seen Caucasian white coaches that don't call plays still end up with a head coaching job. So I don't know what the fix is. I like to see some of these coaches, black coaches, get more opportunities on the offensive side of the ball where they can call plays and get more attention, because I think that could help in some of the hiring process of giving these guys an opportunity. Because if you're leaning towards offensive-minded coaches, well, you got to have the candidates there, that can that you can pull from. And right now, there's just a lack of black coaches on the offensive side when it comes to offensive coordinators and, like I said, quarterback coaches.
Yeah, man. Hopefully by this time next off season, we'll see more candidates emerge, African American candidates emerge for these coaching jobs. Because right now, when the off season started, what was it? 10 positions open. Yeah. And this was one of the biggest coaching carousels I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
At the end of the season. Like, it was almost like a game every day. Who's going to go where? That's how hot some of these young offensive coordinators were. But again, NFL needs to do better with this. College football needs to do better with this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the problem is, though, some of these jobs, even when we do, black coaches do get hired, the leash is short.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Short leash.
Yeah, I mean, look at Raheem Moore's 2 years, and he was starting to turn things around. I thought Aaron Glenn's probably going to be in the hot seat going into next year, because I don't think the Jets are going to be very good. So probably be looking for a new coach. And then Ty Bowles, same situation. They didn't make the playoffs. He's probably, he probably has to make the playoffs, or he's probably out. So
he's such a good coach. He's such a good coach, man.
Yeah. And that's why, I was kind of rooting for the Texans, because DeMarco Ryans, defense, you like to see him, kind of advance with what he's doing with that defense. But, it is what it is. Hopefully, like I said, some of these coaches, like Brian Flores, he deserves another opportunity. A guy, he's a leader of men. I know personality comes off strong, may rub some people the wrong way, but he definitely deserves an opportunity to be a coach. I just hope when these coaches do get an opportunity, it's not in a bad situation where you're in a bad organization, bad ownership, to where you get 1 or 2 years and then you're done, and then you never get another head coaching job again. Like with what happened with some of these guys, like Steve Wilkes, we've seen Hugh Jackson, just to name a couple. Hopefully, they get the opportunities, but it's an opportunity where they can be successful.
Yeah, I forgot about Hugh Jackson. Wow, haven't heard that name in a while. And like you said, you hope they don't be put in, especially in interim positions. You don't want to see anybody with a bad team in an interim position too, because that's kind of the kiss of death also.
Well, we saw that with Antonio Pierce with the Raiders. Now, he was interim coach when Josh McDaniels got fired, and they made him the permanent head coach.
Which I was glad when they did that.
And I thought that was a good move. He was a player's coach. A lot of the players liked playing for him, but again, short leash. I thought he should have got at least another year. And they got rid of him for Pete Carroll, who only lasted a year. So you could have kept Antonio Pierce for another year if you're going to do that.
And Carroll's still there, right?
No, Pete Carroll got fired. They just hired Clint Kubiak,
Clint Kubiak, that's
the
right.
Seahawks offensive
Right.
coordinator.
That's
So
right.
man, they've gone through like 5 coaches in the last 5 or 6 years.
And Pete Carroll should never get a coaching job again at this point.
I think he's done. Yeah, I think he's. I mean, he's 72.
Yeah.
73, something like that. So
The game is past him. It's past him.
yeah.
So what's going on? Let's talk about what happened the other night here in Charlotte at Spectrum Center.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get into that, but let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. We're gonna get into some NBA. You're watching the Fans View podcast with your host Jay Ivey and my man Kai Harris.
Imagine your quietest moments found immersed in sound. Bose, let the peace surround you. Sure, quality, innovation, and value are the trademarks of Kia. But what about the benchmarks? Skid marks, trail marks, all the marks you leave along the way. Because life isn't about getting from A to B. It's about the ride from here to there. Kia, movement that inspires.
All right, back with the Fans View Sports Talk podcast, and if you want to watch this episode, continue watching more episodes, click on the link below to subscribe. Now, we talked about NFL. Now we're going to get into the NBA. You mentioned preluding just a few minutes ago about the game from Monday night. We're talking about the Detroit Pistons and the Charlotte Hornets, the brawl. I call it the brawl at the Spectrum.
Mm-hmm. I was there. I was at the
You're
game.
at the game.
I was there.
And tell me your thoughts, since you were there.
One thing about something like that is when you see it on TV, it's one thing, but when you're there, it is nuts. It's mayhem. You're shocked at what's going on. You kind of froze, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is going on right now, because it started, then stopped, then started again, then stopped, then started again. You saw about maybe 50 people on the floor. It was wild. It was a wild scene that got out of hand where it shouldn't have happened at all. I mean, you had hope I'm pronouncing his name right. The player from the Hornets, Diabate.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Jalen Duren from Detroit kind of were getting physical, and the foul was called, and it was kind of a hard foul, and they got in each other's faces, did the whole head button thing, and Duren put his hands in his face and just kind of mushed him like that, and that was it. Diabate went crazy. I mean, the look in his eye, he went crazy, but I kind of get it. As a man, you don't do that to another man.
Mm-hmm. You
just can't do that. I'm a Detroit, of course, I'm a Detroit fan, and Duren's my guy, but yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, and
any man will go crazy after that.
Right, and they announced earlier the suspensions. Isaiah Stewart, 7-game suspension. Duren got 2 games. 2 games, you can live with that. 7 games, that could be a big deal.
Yeah,
coming out of that All-Star break, because now you get into the stretch run.
Yeah,
and you're gonna need him. Because I guess they're gonna have some tough games coming up. So you hate to see that. Who's one of your top players. But, they're a young team, and this is an example where you have to control your emotions. And the Hornets as well, a young team trying to learn how to win. The coach, he got ejected. It was just, a game that just a lot of emotions. And, you're at home, you're going against the top team in the East. So I get it.
Yeah.
You won 9 in a row. You're trying to make a statement. And so, I get it. But I'm just glad nobody was hurt.
Yeah. Nobody else. No one will ever get hurt in an NBA fight. The NBA players cannot fight at all. But getting back to Isaiah Stewart with 7 games, man, he got lucky. He lucked out. Mm-hmm. He lucked out with that because I thought they were going to use his past against him and do 25. That was my biggest fear. And another thing with Stewart, he has to get to a point now in his career where he's known for playing basketball. Mm-hmm. Known for making plays, known for blocking shots, known for being a good defender, instead of this. Everybody knows him from this. So he kind of needs to get out of that, get that stigma washed off of him immediately, because Detroit needs him. I mean, they going back to last year when they were in that first round series with the Knicks, if they had him, no telling what could have happened.
Right. And, they're looking at trying to lock up home court advantage in the East, they got that top spot, but right behind them
is the Celtics. Right, yeah.
Number 2, and then you got the Knicks right there. They're both Celtics and Knicks kind of jockeying for that 2 and 3 spot, but they're right there. So you can't get too comfortable.
Yeah.
The top of that East is gonna be very interesting, especially if Tatum comes back. I mean, he's right now practicing 5-on-5 G League team. So the Knicks are looking good. They're starting to turn things around from that losing streak they had earlier.
Until they played us the other night and lost by 40.
Yeah. So, that East, and then we even got into the Cavs bringing in the James Harden trade.
James Harden. Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to, they're fifth right now. I believe 4th or 5th in the East. So that East is starting to look very competitive.
Oh yeah.
Top half.
Yeah. I can't wait for the playoffs, man. I can't wait. Hopefully we hold on to get that home court advantage for the playoffs, because people are talking about Detroit being a championship team. And even as a fan, I'm like, hold up, pump the brakes just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Can we get our first playoff home win in about 15 years?
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me, not to compare there too much, but Oklahoma City Thunder, they kept, building. That they had that year where they went to the playoffs. They got knocked out first round. They were a play-in team. And then, before you know it, they're in the championship finals host, and then they win it all. I don't know if the Pistons are quite there, I think, but they have that trajectory to where, I could see them, they could make a run to the NBA Finals if they get home court. I mean, going to, Detroit, still called the Palace, the old Palace.
Yeah.
Tough place to play. And they kind of remind me of those bad boy Pistons, the way physical, defense, hard-nosed, hard-fought team, and very well coached. So I think the Pistons got a very, very good chance to get to the finals this year and maybe win a championship. I don't think it's that far-fetched, to be honest.
Yeah, I just want to see them win a home playoff game first, mm-hmm. and then go from there. Then I might think differently. But they have all the tools. They have everything. They have literally everything on that team. Mm-hmm. That you would need to win a championship, especially the coaching. Man, I love JB, Bickerstaff, man.
Yeah. And speaking of mentioned the Hornets earlier, man, we gotta give a shout out to them, man. They've kind of turned things around.
Oh yeah.
Right now they're 10th in the East, play-in.
They'd be a play-in.
Yeah, and they're playing the Hawks. I think they just kicked off not too long ago. So I'm gonna check out the rest of that game. But man, I mean, the Hornets, they're looking like an up-and-coming team that if they can get into playoffs, man, they might, they could be a tough out that first round.
Dude, let me tell you, being at that game the other night, man, I'm watching just Brandon Miller. Con Knipple.
Yeah, that was a great pick.
Man.
If it wasn't for Cooper Flagg, I think he would win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, the way he was knocking down shots, he was like 5 of 11 or something from 3. Or something like that. I mean, he's shooting 47% from 3 in games. Yeah. In actual games. Crazy. Oh man, but yeah, they have a nice young team. But my only question mark with the Hornets is LaMelo Ball's game conducive to winning basketball?
That's key.
He puts butts in seats, man. He's entertaining, he's a showman, but is it conducive to winning basketball?
Absolutely. Well, we're going to find out soon. We got the All-Star break coming up after tonight. They're having the celebrity games Friday, then the All-Star game on Sunday. Then after the All-Star break, man, that's when it gets real. Mm-hmm. It's when, you start playing your best basketball, getting ready closer to the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we got March Madness coming up, so we'll get into that, in the next couple weeks as well. That's something to look forward to this time of year. I know, Tar Heels fans, Blue Duke fans, I know they're getting ready in this area with us living here in Charlotte. So, but I want to thank you, Kai, for joining me.
Anytime, brother.
Great show, great episode, man. I always look forward to having you on. We'll do it again soon. And thank you for all out there watching and supporting the podcast, Fans View. And we'll have some more episodes. Click on the link below if you want to subscribe, and we'll be talking to you soon. Everybody out there, take care.